Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are building two cabinets for either side of this wine fridge. So you can see we have a built-in here. My builder does a terrible job at built-in, so we decided we're going to do them on our own. So we had one built from him, it's garbage. So we're going to do it on our own now. So I'm going to put a cabinet here, put a cabinet over here. So I'm doing the bases of the two cabinets, and then at some point we're going to put a nice quartz countertop over all the cabinets and over the wine fridge. So that's really what we're up to today. We bought some of the wood outside, and we're going to get started building this thing out, and then hopefully by the time we're done we'll have a cabinet, and we'll worry about making doors after that. But that's really what we're up to today. Okay, so I went and got some wood from Home Depot, and this really is just sand. It's basically plywood. So it's about 1/2 inch plywood, because cabinets are really small. They're only going to be 17 inches wide. They're going to be about 24 inches deep. So I don't need something really bulky and heavy for it. And so this is a 1/2 inch plywood. You can see it's got a nice finish to it and that sort of thing as well. So it does have some imperfections to it, but it's not going to matter because this is going to be inside of a wall. And then the inside of the cabinet is going to be painted. And so it's not going to be something I have to really worry about making sure that I have a really high-end glossy finish to it. So I bought a 4x8 sheet of this. A 4x8 sheet of this is about $35, $36. So I needed two of them to build these two small cabinets. One suggestion I would have is if you can, and they're pretty accurate with it, is to rip down your wood. Rip down the 4x8 while you're there. So I knew that I needed a 4x8 sheet, so it's 48 inches across. I knew I wanted a 24-inch depth. So I had them rip a 24-inch depth of both pieces of wood. So that way they're consistent. So they're done that way at Home Depot. They're not going to be super accurate with their cuts at Home Depot. So don't go in there and go, I want 48 and 1/8. They're probably not going to get to that perfection that you're looking for. Usually a typical toe kick is roughly about 3 inches high, and then it's about 3.5 to 4 inches deep. So I made mine 3.5 inches deep because my refrigerator for my wine fridge is not that deep, so I didn't want to make a really deep toe kick in there and then have it kind of be weird. So as you can see, I cut these two out. Where I'm standing here is, you'll see I'm going to put a base shelf in. I'll put a middle shelf in, but I don't want to go all the way across with it because I want to be able to put some tall bottles in there and things like that. So I'll probably build a shelf from about here over, and that way the taller bottles can go in the front, the littler bottles can go under the thing, and I still have a second shelf to put things on. So I'm going to build two of those. So both cabinets are going to be they're going to be mirrors of each other on each side. So the cabinets are going to be 17 inches wide, so 17 inches wide. They're 35 inches right now, 35 inches tall. So as you can see, the height's about 35 inches now. And they're 24 inches deep, so which is pretty standard. So 24-inch depth is pretty much any base cabinet you'll see. 34.5 to 35 inches is really the height that you're going to want for any kind of base cabinet to be comfortable to work on. And so it's going to be that. And then 17 inches wide is just the space I need, right? I need a 17-inch wine fridge, 17-inch. So then once it's done, I'm going to get a nice piece of quartz to put over the top of it, and the cabinets will be taking on all the weight, which will be secured to the wall, so it'll be plenty strong. Okay guys, so this is basically the outside frame of the first cabinet. So two things. One, as you can see, this is where the toe kick's going to be, right? So that's going to be basically a 3-inch toe kick that'll go across there at some point. This isn't it. I'm just showing it as an example. That's going to be your toe kick. So then we secured to the outside. We actually just drilled right through the side. The reason we did that is because these are going to be covered by the wall anyway, and so there's no reason to do Craig drilling or any of those things, any Craig jigs or anything. Then the top, this is a piece that's cut the same size as the base. So we'll glue and we will put screws in here. So we'll get that connected there. And then we'll probably do the same in the front with a smaller piece, and it'll be the same. This isn't the piece for it because it's way too thick. This piece is thick because on the back side, this is going to be going against the back wall. We're going to use this to secure to the back wall. So once we put it in, we're going to go drill right through there. That'll secure into a 2x4 to the back wall, keep it good and steady to the ground. Then we can also go in through the side if we need to, because we have a side wall there, and do some 2x4s. But we don't know if we're going to do that yet. This in the front we'll either do one of two things. We'll either get a smaller piece that's like this to put in the front, or we'll get a piece of, take a piece of what we got from pine, cut it down, and actually just build a face out of this. And that face will help kind of keep the rigidity of it. And then we're gonna build a middle shelf as well. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm building some smaller shelves to put in here. So like I said, this is gonna be for like a wine area. So I didn't want to build shelves that went all the way to the top because frankly I want to put some taller bottles in there and things like that. So as you can see, I marked this line, so I made it so it's about where I need to be. This is going to go in right on the bottom of that, and then we're going to secure it right there. So you can see I can put some taller bottles in the front. Also on the outside, I measured here because that's where I really need the screws to go through. So that's why I measured where I did, because I want to make sure the screws go through at the right spot. So I'll know that if they go through this line, they should go through here just fine on that board. Okay, so I'm adding another piece of trim in, just across the front, just to give it a little bit more strength. So I'm going to go into the sides of this, and then I'm still trimming out the front for the doors to go on. But I want to give it a little bit more strength on it. So I'm going to put one screw in each side of this thing, and that should give it enough that it's going to give it more strength and keep it kind of squared up as well. Okay, so I'm just making a kick plate. So this will go over here, so nothing will go under it. And it doesn't have to be that thick, so it's just got some thin wood for it. That's really just gonna be it. It's my kick plate. So now what I'm doing is I'm just doing some finish trim work, because otherwise you don't want this. This is obviously rough wood. You don't want that. So I got some trim. This is just a hunk of pine. That's basically an inch wide, and I'm just going to trim it out. I'm going to hard nail it in there, glue it, nail it in there, do tops and bottoms so it has a nice face to it, and then that should really be it. I mean, from the standpoint of getting this done, that's all I'm going to really do. I'll use my nailer for this because then I can just patch up the holes, sand it down. I'm going to paint it anyway. So that's what I'm up to. Look-alike cabinets for each side. So as you can see, they're pretty solid. So they should be able to hold, if they can hold my 180 pounds, they should be able to hold a countertop that's equally distributed across it. So it's got that, they're glued. I put a front face on them, and I put some wood putty in some of the nail holes that we have. I'll do a little bit more finish work on them just to get a couple more pieces put in there. But like I said, as you can see, they're really, really solid. And what we did on these shelves is we did something a little bit different here. If you look at this one's a little bit better than this one over here. I got to fix a few things on that one, but what we did is we put the shelf back a little bit. So we gave ourselves a place here we could put taller bottles because it's going to be where the wine stuff is. So it's got some place to put that in, and that's really it. I mean, after that, we're going to make doors, and we'll make shaker doors. One mistake I made last time was making shaker doors out of pine wood. So I guess pine wood expands and contracts a lot. And they're not bad. If you ask Holly, they're all right, but I noticed some imperfections in my pine wood ones, or pine wood doors. So I'm gonna make some out of a wood that doesn't expand and contract as much. So I'll probably do that with these and see how they turn out. Okay, so now we're working on the doors. If you wanna see the specifics of how we did this, in the description we'll put a link below. Okay, quick update. So here's where we're at. Basically, I got both cabinets put in, and I got them secured to the wall. So you can tell they're primed now. So they have a coat of primer on them, just to give them, obviously you want it to paint the stick. So did that. So I secured this one to this wall. So it's in there super tight. Like you couldn't get it out if you wanted to. So, well, I guess you could take the screws out. But anyways, so I put that one in. Then I rolled the fridge back as far as I could, so I could get the plug in and kind of situated the back the way I wanted to. Obviously this one's got a vent in the front. The fridge has got a vent in the front. You want a vent in the front if you're going to put a fridge built in. Otherwise it'll overheat and can cause problems, and the fridge won't last as long. Then I dropped this top one in because it's nice and tight in there. So I dropped it in. So I didn't want to put a lot of trim work around the outside. So I wanted to make sure that the measurements were almost perfect, and they are. So you can see that, I'll probably put a little bead of caulk in there just to make sure you don't get these gaps and things like that, but I'll do that. Then I secured this one to the wall. So that was my second piece I did. Secured that one to the wall, so that's in tight. So now you can tell, obviously I checked, make sure the fridge opens really easy. There's no rubbing here on this. So the nice thing about this fridge is it actually opens the door when it opens. The fridge doesn't kink it. But I also wanted to make sure that if you opened it all the way, you weren't getting a kink in the corner, which we're not going to with ours because we got our spacing right. Then the last thing I did is the trim pieces I pulled off, I recut them. So I wanted the trim to kind of look like it runs behind it. So I took and I hand cut these. You can tell I hand cut them. Hand cut these. So then they fit right back in there. And then if you just kind of get them wedged in there, boom, slides in. I'll put a nail or two in there with a nailer and I'll caulk that. And then you can see that it looks like it's never came out. Obviously our builder did a terrible job in here because it looks like they just caulked the living daylights out of it. But I did that there and I did that on the other side as well. So that way it fits in nice and tight and you'll have it like that. Then if you have ideas, I'd love to hear ideas on what to do on the top. So I've seen them done where they just put cabinets in, you can put wine glasses and things in there with glass fronts, or I've seen them do different things like that. So, let me know what you think. I'll probably do something with that as well. Okay, so here's where we're at. Everything in here is triple coated. So you can see it's got a nice shiny finish to it. And so basically the cabinet itself is done. The base part of it's done. The doors, I primed the doors, front and back, right? I patched up any stuff I didn't like. And then basically I did one coat on the inside just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But then I'm gonna hang it and finish the rest. Okay guys, so we finished the base cabinets. It's crazy. They actually turned out really, really, really nice. So I shouldn't say actually, I've done it one time before. But I learned from some of my mistakes the first time. So they turned out really nice. I made one door on each side, as you can see. And I put European hinges in there. So you can see those that are in there right now, right? So did that. Obviously we painted them, we primed them, we put a couple coats on. I'll probably even do one more smooth coat on the front here, just to give it a little bit more of a smooth finish. So I'll give a light sand, I'll probably get one more coat at least on the doors. The frames are really pretty good. But the couple things I learned from my mistake on the first time. One, put in your kick boards before you actually put the cabinets in. So I didn't do that on my previous ones that you saw by the TV built-ins. It's so much easier. Put the kick plate in so you don't have to worry about trying to get under there and get something in there. Like even my nailer, to get my nailer in there was kind of a challenge. Really easy when you can flip it on the side and put it in. So I learned from that. The second thing that was a little bit of a challenge is we were really close in here on our trim work, right? So we wanted to make it look like it was a true built-in. So I had to take the side trim in so I could put it really flush against these walls, these side walls. So I took all the trim work that was put in by the builder, and I basically cut it so you could see that. I cut it under, and the challenge really was making sure that we could still open our door and not pinch this or rub against it every time. And as you can see, the nice thing about European hinges is we are super close, but we don't touch. Same thing on the other side. So we trimmed it all down, did the same thing. So the only thing I gotta do on this yet is we have to get some knobs. So we want some knobs to match. So we're gonna do that, so we're gonna get some knobs. The second thing we wanna do for this really is get a countertop put in. So with this, because we're gonna open bottles of wine on it, and that sort of thing, we're gonna get a piece of quartz cut for this. So that's really what we have to do. We're gonna put that in. We'll give you a video on that, so we'll put that in. And then, obviously my projects never end there, they grow. So we're gonna start working on the uppers as well. So you can see I marked out where our uppers are gonna go. I took into account that basically a piece of quartz is just a little over 1 inch high. So I knew that. So the quartz will be placed on here, we'll cross this whole thing. Then the quartz will be basically where this line is. I measured from here to here, which is about 18 inches. So I went in my kitchen to make sure that I'm doing it somewhat to a standard, and then I looked it up. So it's about 18 inches from countertop to bottom of cabinets. So I'm gonna put in 2 uppers up here. They're gonna match the lowers. So you'll have one here and you'll have one on the other side. Difference being is we're gonna have glass doors on them. So never done that, it's gonna be a challenge. I'm not really good at doors. I'm gonna figure them out though, trial and error. But I'm gonna put 2 doors in, same thing. Gonna put handles on them and all that stuff, but glass. And then in between here, we're gonna do higher shelves, probably just 2. So the reason we're gonna do that is because obviously if you open this and you take a bottle of wine out, you're gonna want a little headroom if you will, to do that. These cabinets are only about 12 inches from off the wall, so you'll have, it won't be that they're real close, but here we can hang some glasses, we can, I don't know, I'm sure we'll put holiday decorations all the way up as we go. And then at the very top, we didn't want to go super high. We did 42-inch cabinets, which is a pretty standard cabinet height. And then we have about 6 inches, a little over 6 inches at the top. We're going to have to figure out something to do with molding or, I don't know yet, cabinet topper stuff. We'll figure it out though. But so we're going to do that, and that will hope, we would like to say we're finished, but Holly really wants to put like a nice tile on the back of here, which shouldn't be that hard because frankly it's not that big a space, and I've done tile work before. Tile work is actually really easy compared to all the cutting and cabinet work that we're doing right now. So, and I have a wet saw, so we'll show you that as well. So then we might throw some lights in here somehow. We don't know yet, but Holly really would like to see some lights. Of course she would. So we're going to try to figure out that as we go as well. So maybe one light, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Thanks. That's it for this video. Check us out in the other videos. Check us out on the countertop video. Check us out on the videos that for building the top, doing the tile work, light, I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see you next time. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll subscribe to our videos, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.